Hi, fourth graders. So today, Miss DeLeon and I have a meeting to attend to, and it will last the whole math class, but we are still having math today, and you have from 8:10 until 9 o'clock to work on your independent math activity. I just wanted to create this video to go over the directions as you will be working completely independent. And as a reminder, make sure you read through the directions, look for hints that I leave you on the sides of the slides, and just try to do your very best. You have all been doing such a great job practicing finding equivalent fractions using bar models, number lines, and most recently what we've learned, multiplication with the rule of twins. Today, these slides are going to use multiplication to help find the missing numerators or denominators or total equivalent fractions. Just as a refresher, think about the rule of twins. When you have twins, whatever you give to one baby, you have to give to the other baby. Just like when you whatever number you multiply the numerator by, you also have to multiply the denominator by. It always has to be the same number. Let's look at today's activity, and hopefully I can answer any questions you might be having. This is a completely independent slideshow using multiplication. You can use your whiteboards to help figure out some of the problems if you need to, but I suggest only using your whiteboard for one problem at a time and erasing when you go on to the next slide. This way you don't lose any of your work and you're dragging your answers in before you erase. You can also use your multiplication chart if you have one. And there's also one attached to this assignment for you. Some of the slides will have a highlighted yellow direction or hint on the left side for you, so it's important to look for those. I highlighted it in yellow so that you wouldn't miss it. This first slide here, it's slide number 3, it's an example slide. It's already done for you. In this case, you had missing numerator boxes, and these two numbers were part of the set over here, and you had to figure out what the rule was. So in this case, both of your denominators were there, and whatever you had to multiply the denominator by, you would use that same rule for the numerator. In this case, I know 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. And that's why I dragged the 2 over. So 1/2 is equal or equivalent to 2/4. That's the same thing for this bottom slide here. You are going to do the same practice on slides 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, they're all multiplication. You know the denominators, so you think 6 times what is 24? And whatever multiplication fact that is, you do the numerator by. And you're doing that for slides 4 through 8. Slide 9 is a little bit different, and that's why I added this hint here. In this case, you have the denominators again, but you're missing the left side of the numerator. So if I look at this first problem here, I think 8 times what equals 16? Well, I know that 8 times 2 is 16. To find this missing numerator box here, I have to think what times 2, because I know my rule is times 2, so what times 2 equals 8? Well, I know 4 times 2 is 8. So in these problems, you're kind of thinking in reverse or backwards, and you'll do that same thing for the bottom slide here, and for slides 9, 10, and just 9 and 10. In slide 11, you have the numerators, but you're missing the denominators. So just like before, you think to yourself, 1 times what equals 5? And you know 1 times 5 equals 5, so if the rule is to multiply by 5, I just do 2 times 5 to find my missing denominator. And you're going to do that for slides 11, 12, 13, 14. In slides 15, you have the 2 numerators, but now you're missing the denominator on the left side. So just like before, you're thinking 2 times what equals 10? Well, 2 times 5 equals 10. If you know the rule is to multiply by 5, now you have to think what. So this is your missing number. What times 5 equals 15. And whatever number that is, you're going to drag into the pink box. You are doing the same thing for slide 16. Slide 17, 18, and 19 have bar models for you. The top is already filled in on the left side. You have to drag the correct bar model, whatever shaded fraction this represents. You have to find the correct one and drag it to this empty box, and that'll show you what fractions are equivalent to each other. The last two slides are slides 20 and 21. They're both word problems, but you just have to figure out if the two fractions involved are equivalent. Let's look at the word problem in slide 20. Ella ate 4/10 of her popsicle, and Sam ate 8/20 of his popsicle. Did they eat the same amount? So in this case, you might want to use your whiteboard to find out if 4/10 and 8/20 are equivalent. That means, is there one number that you can multiply the numerator and the denominator by, and they give you the same answer? If it works, you're going to put yes if they're equivalent, or you're just going to drag no in the box if they are not equivalent. The last slide is slide 21. This problem says, Jane and Tim went to the cinema and got some popcorn. Jane ate 2/5 of her popcorn, and Tim ate 6/10 of his popcorn. Did they eat the same amount? So again, you are comparing 2/5 and 6/10. You're figuring out if those two fractions are equivalent, and you might have to use your whiteboard to figure out if there is a number you can multiply the numerator and the denominator by to get to multiply 2/5 by to see if it works to get 6/10. If it does work, you would drag yes, they are the same amount, or you would drag no, they are not the same amount. When you finished all the slides, and again you have until 9 o'clock or whatever time you have to go back to your homeroom teacher, we should be back at 9 o'clock to give you directions for snack time or the next activity. Please make sure you turn this in. You have the end of the school day to turn it in. You can email us with any questions, but we really want you to be problem solvers and do the absolute best that you can. Please look at the directions posted on Google Classroom for what you can do next if you finish this activity early.